MAPE, PE and Health 4, Quarter 4, Week 3. Matatag Curriculum. For the review, why do we need to study sexual and reproductive health rights? Before studying about consumer rights in the Philippines, assess how well you know, comprehend the subject. This should take a few minutes. Rate your knowledge and awareness on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being very low and 5 being very high. How well do you know about the idea of consumer rights? Do you know of any particular rules or laws that promote the rights of consumers in the Philippines? Could you give instances where consumer rights would be applicable? How comfortable are you as a consumer making wise choices? Have you encountered or come across any problems or difficulties pertaining to consumer rights? The 8 basic rights of a consumer. Read the statement and arrange the jumbled letters to form the correct word. Consumers have the right to access essential goods and services necessary for their basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, education, and sanitation. 2. This is the right to be protected against the marketing of goods or the provision of services that are hazardous to health and life. Number 3, this is the right to be protected against dishonest or misleading advertising or labeling and the right to be given the facts and information needed to make an informed choice. Number 4, this is the right to choose products at competitive prices with an assurance of satisfactory quality. 5. This is the right to express consumer interest in the making and execution of government policies. This is the right to be compensated for misrepresentation, shoddy goods, or unsatisfactory services. This is the right to acquire the knowledge and skills necessary to be an informed customer. This is the right to live and work in an environment that is neither threatening nor dangerous, and which permits a life of dignity and well-being. Let's say you go to the store to buy a new pencil case for school. You find one that looks nice and decide to buy it, but when you get home and open it, you see that it has a big hole in it. What do? Remember, you have rights as a consumer. Let's have activity 2, Know My Rights. Read each of the following scenarios closely to see whether specific consumers' rights are being violated. Choose your answer inside the box. Write your answers in the space provided. Here are the choices: right to education, right to safety, right to information, right to redress, right to representation, and right to choose. Number 1. Gary is a 16-year-old dropout. He intended to enroll in the alternative learning system, or else, but due to many smoking violations, he was turned down for admission. Very good. Right to education. 2. Barangay Atubao is located in a remote area. By providing free water, it benefits everyone. After drinking water, the residents of the barangay were ill one day. It was discovered that a particular chemical from the next factory's outflow contaminated the water. Right to safety. Anna had a week-long, hard cough. She had a checkup at a clinic. She was given medication, but she was in confusion because the medicine had no label. Right to information. Number 4, Cardo has always wanted a laptop. He had saved enough money for 3 months to finally purchase one. He purchased it from the closest mall's computer store. He made sure it had a receipt and a warranty certificate before he left. Right to redress or right to information. Marisa likes the deals that major grocery stores give. She got 1 carton of sardines at a really cheap price when she went to her favorite grocery store. Later, she found that the canned items were already expired. Very good. It is right to safety. Government policy is developed without consumer groups' involvement. You're right. It's right to representation. Elsa is excited to go to the grocery store with her mom. As they walk down the cereal aisle, Emily spots her favorite brand of breakfast cereal that she enjoys every morning. However, next to it, she notices a new cereal with colorful packaging and a fun cartoon character on the box. She's curious about it and asks her mom if she can try it instead of her usual cereal. Her mom agrees and encourages Emily to choose whichever cereal she likes best. Very good, it's right to choose. At the store, Jake sees some tasty chips with fun pictures on them. He wants to get them, but his brother says they're not good for him. When Jake asks why his brother isn't sure how to explain it well, this makes Jake confused because he doesn't understand why these snacks might not be healthy. He wishes he knew more about why some foods are better for him than others, so he could make smarter choices. Very good, it's right to education or information. For the lesson activity, we have buzz session. Do you think the government ensures the rights of every Filipino consumer? If so, what are some of its actions? Can you share it to the class? The government also plays an important role in consumer protection. A consumer has rights mandated by law. These are privileges that an individual is guaranteed of health products and services. The Consumer Act of the Philippines is a law that protects the interests of the consumer, promotes the general welfare, and establishes standards of conduct for business. The Consumer Act of the Philippines is a law that protects the interests of the consumer, promotes the general welfare, and establishes standards of conduct for business and industry. There are 8 basic rights of a consumer, according to the Act. For the subtopic 2, Filipino consumer responsibilities. What does the term consumer mean? Why should we consider our options before making a purchase? What factors should we take into account before making a purchase? How can we be certain that the goods we purchase are safe for the environment and for us? When was the last time you witnessed something unfair when shopping? How did you proceed? How can we help take care of the environment while shopping? Watch and discover. Let us watch the video about a given situation of a consumer. Consumer rights and responsibilities in the given YouTube link. The title of the video, Consumer PH in a Nutshell, Consumer Rights and Responsibilities, uploaded by the DTI Philippines. For the guide questions, what are two examples of consumer responsibilities discussed in the video? How can consumers protect themselves from scams or fraud according to the video? Why is it important for consumers to be aware of their rights and responsibilities? Can you think of a time when you or someone you know faced a problem as a consumer? What did you learn from it? Consumer responsibilities. If Filipino consumers have their rights, what are also their responsibilities? According to the Department of Trade and Industry, here are the consumer rights and responsibilities. Critical awareness. It is the consumer responsibility to be more alert and questioning about the use, price, and quality of goods and services. Action. It's the consumer's responsibility to assert ourselves and act to ensure that we get fair deal. As long as we remain passive consumers, we will continue to be exploited. Social concern is the consumer responsibility to be aware of the impact of our consumption on other citizens, especially disadvantaged or powerless group, whether in local, national, or international community. Environmental awareness. It is the consumer responsibility to understand the environmental consequences of our consumption. We should recognize our individual and social responsibility to conserve natural resources and protect the earth for future generations. Solidarity is the responsibility to organize together as consumers to develop the strength and influence to promote and protect our interest. For subtopic 3, Filipino consumer rights, decision-making skills, assertiveness skills, and critical thinking skills. Decision-making skills. When you are in the canteen, what do you consider before buying? Can you tell me about a time when you had to choose between two snacks? How did you make your decision? Assertiveness skill. How would you ask your teacher for help if you didn't understand a lesson? If someone is bothering you during class, what can you do to politely make them stop? Critical thinking skills. How can you tell if something you read online is true or not? Why do you think it's important to listen to different opinions when making a decision? Read and analyze the given situations. Choose your answer inside the box. Decision-making skills, assertiveness skills, and critical thinking skills. Situation 1. Maria has put money aside to purchase a birthday present for her friend. She visits a toy store and finds a lot of toys that interest her, but she has to choose which one to purchase. Very good, it's decision-making skills. Anna wants to beg her parents to get her the new toy she saw online, which she believes is the best toy ever and would provide her with guaranteed fun. You're right, it is critical thinking skills. Situation 3. Juan discovers he ordered the wrong thing as he is purchasing lunch at the cafeteria. Instead of the chicken sandwich, he requested He was given a ham sandwich. You're right, it's assertiveness skills. According to critical thinking secrets, decision-making skills, making decisions requires the capacity to decide which alternative is best out of many. Before making a choice, it involves taking requirements, preferences, available resources, and possible outcomes into account. Assertiveness skills, the ability to confidently and respectfully communicate one's opinions, feelings, and demands is referred to as assertiveness skills. It involves putting oneself first, establishing boundaries, and speaking clearly while taking other people's rights and feelings with account. Critical thinking skills. Thinking critically is assessing, analyzing, and interpreting information or circumstances in an organized and systematic way. It includes questioning presumptions, looking over the available data, taking into account many viewpoints, and reaching well-informed conclusions or decisions. For Activity 3, Defend My Rights. Read and understand the scenarios carefully. Write your best answers on the space provided. Scenario 1. You bought a toy from the shop and found it is faulty after using it for 5 minutes. What went wrong? Number 2. Whose fault was it anyway? 3. To whom will you seek help and why? 4. Did the issue get resolved? The pharmacist unintentionally gave you the wrong medication meant for the other customer. What went wrong? Whose fault was it anyway? To whom will you seek help and why? Did the issue get resolved? Let us now answer. The toy was faulty and stopped working after 5 minutes. It was the manufacturer's fault. I would seek help from the store or the manufacturer. The issue should be resolved with a replacement or refund. Next, the pharmacist gave me the wrong medication by mistake. It was the pharmacist's fault for not checking the medication properly. I would seek help from the pharmacy manager to fix the mistake. The issue should be resolved by providing the correct medication. Organize me. Now that you know the consumer responsibilities, it's time to organize the following questions below. To what consumer responsibilities they are being referred to. Read and categorize the questions below by writing it on the box that refers to consumer responsibilities. Critical awareness, action, social concern, environmental awareness, and solidarity. Why is it important to read labels and instructions before buying a product? Can you give an example of a product that you should be careful with when buying? Why is it important to support local business in our community? Can you think of a time when you helped someone make a good choice while shopping? Why is it important to think about how products are made and who makes them? Can you think of ways we can support workers who make the products we buy? What can you do if you notice that a product you bought is not safe to use? How can you help your family make better choices when shopping? How can we reduce waste when we shop for groceries? Why is it important to choose products that are eco-friendly? Here are the correct answers. Read the following statement and choose to shade happy or sad icon. Shade the happy icon if the statement is true or correct. If the statement is false or incorrect, shade the sad icon. 1. The right to return a product if it's broken. 2. Throwing trash anywhere we want. 3. Using reusable bags and recycling materials. 4. Not caring about our community. 5. We buy products by ignoring labels and instructions. Here are the correct answers.